critic sometimes and our biggest enemy. And if you have that mindset, that's a limiting factor. And in life, when things get a little bit tough, some people cave and the other ones go, they thrive. That's the beauty of adopting that kind of positive mindset.
A couple of interesting perspectives that came out of that. I'd be curious to know about. Like, I think there's always been this belief, especially in the SEALs, that it's hard treatment. Like you were talking about the idea of using kind of positive reinforcement instead of negative.
And I would say this: there was a time to use that negative reinforcement, like in the selection program to become a SEAL. We call it BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training. Negative kind of boot camp style, what people see in the movies, like Full Metal Jacket. It's designed to see who has what it takes, who can deal with that negativity, adversity, and like stuff it away and come out on top. But so I do think that there is an appropriate time. But in our course, it's like, look, we've already got trained SEALs. Like, these guys are extremely competent. We know they're highly motivated already. So there's no reason to like verbally bash them.
Yeah.
When we're trying to make like the best snipers in the world.
Do you ever use negative reinforcement in business or with your kids at all? Do you ever see that there's a function for that?
I apply a lot of the positive teaching and coaching methods as a parent in my kids, and I'm really careful on how I talk to them, and I coach them on self-talk, because self-talk, we're our biggest, critic sometime, and our biggest enemy. Because you see people walk around all the time and say, oh, I'm not very good at math. And if you have that mindset, that's a limiting factor, and it's really, math is easy.
I imagine you, in your critical moments, like setting up a shot or whatever it is, did you hear that voice in your head that was like, you're going to fuck this up?
No, actually, never. The difference in mindset is, I remember this story very clearly. My friend Lanny, who was a gold medalist in the Olympics, gave us the example of a mindset of a champion. Was this guy who was there at this world championship shooting match, and one of his friends, who was like, top 10 in the world, his gun malfunctioned, and he didn't have a backup. And they're like, they're basically giving him a hard time. And he went and borrowed a rifle from Lanny, and Lanny jokingly said, yeah, you can have this old thing, this old rifle, the sights are broken anyway, just kind of gave him a hard time. And the guy looked at him, he's like, wouldn't it be a great story to tell my grandkids if I told them how I won the world championship when my rifle broke and I borrowed one and won the whole competition? And he went on and won the world championships with a fucking borrowed gun.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between somebody that has that mindset of, I'm going to go into combat as a sniper and I'm going to do my job. I don't care if I have to, fashion a slingshot and shoot the guy in the freaking head with a rock. Like, I'm going to get the job done no matter what. And in life, when things get a little bit tough, some people cave and the other ones go, they thrive. That's the beauty of adopting that kind of positive mindset. Because if you had a choice between two guides to take to the top of Everest, and they're giving you like this brief, and one guy says, you know what, well, statistically 8 out of 10 people don't make it to the top, our odds are really against us, and then the other guy's like, hey, I'm going to get you to the top no matter what, like, we're just going to make this happen.
Yeah, it's
like, that's
choice.
The guy you want to go with. Complaining about it isn't going to solve the fucking problem.
Now, do you say it that way, though? Like,
yeah.
Do you come with, because to me that is a little bit like a negative reinforcement.
Yeah, no, there's a time, I think, absolutely to step in and say, look, for me, I like using a little bit of tough love sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it shakes them up and they go, okay, I get it. You have to find people that are focused on solutions, and guys that are self-starters, guys and gals.
The nice thing about being a pilot is I was taught you can't do that. Like, when the engine quit that time on me, I couldn't sit there and go like, why me? Yeah. Statistically speaking, this isn't good. It was like, no, let's just land the airplane. It's not that big of a deal. So is there, like, have you seen in your experience that you can train someone into that, or is it something that they're just, like, it's just a character thing that's not movable?
It has a lot to do with our upbringing and environment, but it is trainable. Somebody has to be ready to adopt that kind of mindset and put in the hard work, because it's a lot of hard work to like reprogram yourself to think differently. I mean, the one common thing is to place reminders, like in your calendar, and like places throughout your day where you're going to see that kind of, that affirmation, and just live with it for a month. Like, I've seen it where people want to get better at something. They're having that conversation, oh, I'm not good at numbers. Well, then you just change that to, I am good at numbers and I'm going to learn this. And you just put that in places throughout your day. When you see that, and it's like an imprint, and then you program yourself to just think differently.
You mean like literally putting like Post-its up somewhere that you're working, or putting a reminder on your phone?
Yeah. Surrounding yourself with that, with, you know, with whatever you want to work on is extremely important.
I think the whole idea of daily affirmations, it's kind of funny. I think people thought that was very woo-woo, and they make fun of it.
Yeah.
And I just started doing, my buddies started something called the 5-minute journal a while back, and I think Tim Ferriss popularized it. One of them is like, what's your daily affirmation for today? And it's funny, I feel cheesy doing it, but I realize how much that does change. Where like exactly what you said about people saying, I'm not a numbers person or whatever it is. It's like I always say, oh, I'm not a marketing guy, I'm more of an ops guy. But it's actually a very limiting belief, because that means I'm going to self-sabotage anything outside of my realm.
Perfect example. And you have to still, I mean, you can't just put up a bunch of sticky notes and transform yourself into something without putting in the hard work. Like, you need, if it requires, you know, hard work to learn something new, whether it's a language or a skill set, you still have to put in the hard work. But changing the way you think about that is important.
Thanks for watching. What you just saw was basically a part of our Ultimate Man Day with Brandon. If you want to check that video out, you can go right here. Also, if you dug what you were seeing, please do subscribe and comment on the bottom if there's anyone in particular you'd like to see us take on the plane. Thanks so much again.